I was at work the other day when the phone rang. It was John. Well, hello, John. What's on your mind? Hey, he says, did you install an alarm recently? And I said, yes, I did. Why? Well, because I think I heard it. Oh, well, that's rather alarming, John. Can you go check? I said. I'm at work about an hour away, so I would rather not have to drive back. And he said, I'm sorry, but I can't. I'm afraid of the dark, and also, I'm not dressed. Okay, well then, let's just do a quick Bayesian calculation, right? Before I go rushing back home through traffic, let's get out the Bayesian calculator. Oh, I knew you'd say that. Okay, show me. But I'm not computing anything. No worries. That's what the Bayesian calculator is for. But let us think it through. So I have this alarm, and it'll detect if a burglar comes in, and it'll go off. But it's a motion detector, so maybe an earthquake might also set it off. Now, when it sounds, you might hear it, and you might give me a call. And maybe even our friend, Mary. She lives in the neighborhood too. She might give us a call as well. But let's think, right? Are you really hearing it? What's going on? Is there a burglar? Or is there maybe an earthquake? Or are you just imagining things? Let's figure it out. So we'll start with a simple causal network, right? And at the center is this alarm. And is it actually going off or not? Is there a burglary in progress? Is there an earthquake? Mary, has she called? Well, actually, she hasn't. And you have called. Now, this network, as it stands, is useless, right? It just says everything, yes, no, 50%, 50%. Well, I can flip a coin and get the exact same result. So what we need to do is we need to get inside its brain. And in particular, we're going to go inside here, and we need to fill this out. And we need to call our handyman and ask him, hey, how good is this alarm anyway? Can it, will it detect a burglary in progress? And, what have I paid for? And he says, okay, well, let me give you the details. And this is what he said. He said, okay, well, if there's a burglary in progress and there's an earthquake, oh, it'll go off 99.9% of the time. I can guarantee you that. Very good, I said. And then he said, well, if there's a burglary in progress, but no earthquake, it'll go off 99% of the time. Guarantee. Very good, sir. What about if there's just an earthquake, but no burglary? Well, he said, that's not really our business, right? This is a burglar alarm, not an earthquake alarm. So I'm just going to give you a 30-70 on that. Okay, very good. And what about if there's no burglary, no earthquake? You're asking about a false alarm? Correct. Well, that's 0.1%. 1 in 1,000 times will be a false alarm. Oh, well, very good. So I can live with that. By the way, there were 2 installers. There was this guy and this guy. Anyway, moving on. So we need to ask a question. So tell me, John, right? If the alarm sounds, how likely are you to call me? And John said, well, 95% of the time, probably. And if I'm not busy and I'm not drunk, well, then I'll call you. Okay. And how about when it doesn't sound? How likely are you to call me? Well, he said, honestly, it's not like I like you that much. So put me down for 4%. Okay. What about Mary? Well, he said, Mary, she doesn't like you that much either. So, you're kind of on your own maybe 3 out of 4 times. If she hears it, maybe she'll call. So put her down for 75%. And as far as when the alarm doesn't sound, well, she's going to call you even less than I do. Okay, John, that's good to know. It's good to know who your friends are. Okay. Now, you know what I'm going to ask. Yes, I know. It's all about the base rate. It's always about the base rate. That's right, John. It's about the base rate. So let's ask about the prior for earthquake. How likely is an earthquake in our neighborhood? Not likely, right? It's a pretty low risk. But how about for a burglary? What's the likelihood for that? What is the prior, do you think? And he says, well, you know, the neighborhood is a pretty colorful neighborhood. Don't be a racist, John. It's not what I mean. I'm just meaning that, it's a colorful neighborhood. And but I would put the risk pretty low. I would say 1%. Okay, I think that sounds reasonable too. So we'll put it at 1%. Very good. Okay. Now, here's Bayes' theorem. And we've got everything we need. We got the prior, and we've got some likelihoods. So all we need now is a Bayesian calculator. So let's go to Netica and play with the Bayesian calculator. Here we go. Okay, here we are in Netica. This is the initial network, and there are no values. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into its brain. Recall, going into its brain means doing this, view edit brain, and we're going to enter some prior here, and we're going to go here, and we're going to enter the likelihoods over here. So since we've already done that, and I'm not going to do it again, the result is this. So now that we've compiled this thing, let's do a sanity check just to be sure that we're getting the results we think. So here's the prior for burglary and the prior for earthquake. Now, I said, if there's a burglary and there's an earthquake, okay, 99% of the time, it will sound very good. That's what I expect. Good. So let's retract that. And let's retract that. Okay. What about if an alarm sounds? Well, okay, might be an earthquake, but very not likely. More likely to be a burglary. And were I to discover, oh, well, there's no earthquake, and if I know that the alarm is sounding, that I hear it myself, then 90%. And I would get up. If I was at home, I would get up and I would go check and see what's going on. So let's retract all that. All right. So now, John, since you've called, right, I'm going to say, well, okay, so you're calling. Okay. Oh, well, so the probability has gone up a bit. Well, that's interesting. And is there an earthquake? Not that I'm aware of. Not that I'm aware. I have not heard a thing about an earthquake. So I'm going to say, no earthquake. Okay, well, that's inching up too. Now, has Mary called? Well, no, she hasn't. I'm assuming she's at home, and I'm assuming that she would call, but she hasn't. So I'm going to say no. And now we get barely 6%, not even 6%. So that's why, right? I'm just not inclined to leave work. I think it's a false alarm. I think something else is going on, but not a burglary. So there you have it. And we are back. Now, so this is what we discovered. The calculation is this. This was the prior for burglary and the prior for earthquake. And then these were the likelihoods given all that information. And then we entered the information, the actual observation that you actually call and Mary does not, and no reason for thinking this an earthquake. So we did this. We entered, yes, you do call. Mary does not call. Too bad for her. And the earthquake, no, there's no earthquake. I think I would have heard something on the radio and I haven't heard anything. So the result, well, the prior, or the posterior rather, is just 5%. Well, inching up to 6%. And, that's just not enough for me to worry about. So I'm just going to stay at work. And I think it's a false alarm. So what do you think? What's that noise, John? I think I hear something. What is that? And John said, oh, crap. My kitchen's on fire again. Okay, I gotta go. Bye.